And sis, that's what being ruthlessly intentional is all about. It's not being harsh or cold, but about being clear, crystal clear, about what's healthy, what's holy, and what is holding you back. Hi, my friend, and welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and with God's help, I've overcome some of the toughest trials in life that I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself struggling to move beyond a heartbreak or a hardship, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest trials. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those hardships. Let's talk. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman, the podcast where we talk about healing, self-confidence, and resilience after braving life's toughest storms. I'm your host, Coach Dell, and today I'm kicking off a brand new 4-part series that's especially close to my own heart because it's one that's rooted in a phrase that's become the heartbeat of my life and my work: Ruthless Intentionality. Now, ruthless intentionality isn't just a phrase that I say. It's a way of living. It's a way to choose on purpose the kind of woman that you want to become after the heartbreak, or after the loss, or after the storm. Over the next 4 episodes, we're going to talk about what it means to be ruthlessly intentional with your honesty, your healing, your forgiveness, and your own happiness. So if you've been in a season where you're reevaluating everything or anything, the relationships, the routines, even sometimes your own reflection in the mirror, my friend, this one is for you. So let's start right where all the transformation begins, with honesty. You know, I used to think honesty was just about telling the truth to other people. But life has taught me that some of the hardest truths are the ones that we tell ourselves. And there was a time that I had to end a relationship with someone who wasn't innately a bad person. He was kind. He cared. He just couldn't meet me where I needed to be met at that time in my life. And here's the thing. He didn't intentionally hurt me. He wasn't toxic or cruel. But I found myself slowly shrinking, compromising pieces of who I was just to keep the peace. And I remember one day sitting with God and all of the notes that I had written myself, and I heard it in my spirit so very clearly. You can't keep waiting for someone to choose you while you're refusing to choose yourself. And friend, that moment wrecked me because deep down I knew I had been clinging to potential, clinging to what could be instead of being brutally honest about what was. Ending that relationship actually broke my heart, but it was the first time in a very long time that I truly chose myself. And sis, that's what being ruthlessly intentional is all about. It's not being harsh or cold, but about being clear, crystal clear, about what's healthy, what's holy, and what is holding you back. So when I talk about ruthlessly intentional honesty, I'm talking about 3 key layers. The first one is honesty with yourself. What are you pretending not to know or not to notice? And what patterns are you repeating over and over, but calling them faith? Faith in potential change. Being honest with yourself means looking in the mirror and admitting when your comfort zone has actually become your cage. The second layer, is about honesty with others. Sometimes we keep the peace at the expense of telling the truth. But peace built on silence isn't peace, it's pressure. And that peace, that pressure is built on dishonesty. Real love, whether it's in friendships or family or relationships, can handle truth that is spoken with grace and spoken with love. And so if you're withholding being honest with those around you, you have to look inside yourself and ask why. Why am I so afraid to be forthcoming with honesty to those who I love? The third layer of honesty is actually honesty with God. Because when you won't say it out loud, God already knows. In fact, Psalm 139, 23 and 24 says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life." You see, God can't heal what you hide. But the moment that you bring it into the light, He starts to redeem it. And being honest before God doesn't mean that you have it all figured out. We don't ever have it all figured out in this lifetime. There's so much more that awaits us on the other side. And I'm quite certain that much of it will become clear then. But for now, it means that you trust God enough to show Him your mess, your messiest of messes. When I finally got honest about that relationship, not just the pain it was causing, but got honest about my fear of being alone, my fear of hurting someone else, I realized something. I wasn't waiting on a man. I was waiting on me. And once I decided to stop lying to myself about what I really needed, God started sending peace where confusion used to live. So why does it hurt so much? Why does honesty have to hurt? Well, my friend, honesty hurts because it demands change. It hurts because it exposes where we've been settling, and it asks us to stand in the light anyway. But here's the thing. That pain is proof that something real is changing, shifting. And every time you tell the truth, even those uncomfortable truths, you are taking back your power. So if you're listening right now and you can sense and feel something inside of you that is popping up, you know it's time to face your truth. And I want you to breathe through that. Take a deep breath because you can do this. You're not crazy and you're not weak for wanting more. Here's a journal prompt for you that might help you get at it a little bit clearer and a little bit deeper. What truth am I avoiding addressing because it scares me? And when you think about that and pray about that, let God meet you in that question, because you just might find your next breakthrough hiding in that honesty. So, that's it, sis. That is it for today's episode of Bounce Back Black Woman. And if this one spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. There's someone that you need to share it with. And so I'd like to challenge you to share it with another woman who's ready to walk in her own truth. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode in this Ruthlessly Intentional Series. The next one, we're talking about healing. Because once you've finally faced your truth, that next step is learning to rest, release, and restore. So until next time, my friend, I want you to remember this. You are not broken. You are just becoming the very best version of who you already are. And I want you to keep bouncing back, and I want you to keep being ruthlessly intentional. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.